Washington, this is VOA News. President Obama says no U.S. military action in Ukraine. Warnings of new rise in Ebola cases. I'm Ray Kouguell reporting from Washington. President Barack Obama is ruling out U.S. military action to stem rising Russian-backed violence in Ukraine, but says Washington will stand firm with its European allies to address the crisis. Speaking Thursday at the White House, Mr. Obama stopped short of calling recent Russian military action in eastern Ukraine an invasion. He said Russia has for weeks deliberately and repeatedly violated Ukraine's territorial integrity and warned that Moscow will likely face additional economic sanctions from the West. The president spoke just hours after his Ukraine counterpart, Petro Poroshenko, said Russian soldiers and armaments had crossed into eastern Ukraine and seized the port town of Novoazovsk. President Obama says his priority is rolling back the gains the Islamic State has made in Iraq. Before holding White House talks with his national security team Thursday, he said U.S. airstrikes on Islamic State targets in Iraq will continue. But beyond that, Mr. Obama said he does not have a strategy yet in dealing with the militants. Armed groups, including al-Qaeda-linked militants, have captured 43 UN peacekeepers in the Golan Heights between Syria and Israel. Gunmen stormed the border post Wednesday, seizing the peacekeepers. The gunmen include militants from the al-Qaeda-affiliated al-Nusra Front. The World Health Organization says Ebola could infect more than 20,000 people across West Africa by the time the outbreak is over. The UN agency gave its assessment Thursday as it launched a $490 million campaign to fight the epidemic that it says has killed at least 1,550 people. The majority of the infections in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. This is VOA News. The World Health Organization is launching a so-called roadmap aimed at bringing the largest Ebola outbreak in history under control. WHO warns it could take up to 9 months and cause thousands of deaths before the epidemic ends. Lisa Schlein reports.
WHO Assistant Director General Bruce Aylward says the outbreak of Ebola in West Africa is unlike anything ever seen. He says Ebola is not located in a single remote forested area. It is occurring in multiple hotspots within the affected countries, making it very difficult to contain the disease. Aylward says WHO's new action plan calls for a dramatic scale-up of treatment and management centers and emphasizes the need for safe burials. He says 750 international staff and 12,000 nationals working closely with people in Ebola-infected communities are needed to make the plan work. Lisa Schlein for VOA News, Geneva.
The U.S. National Institutes of Health says an experimental Ebola vaccine will be tested on humans starting next week. The early stage testing will evaluate the vaccine's safety and ability to spark an immune system response in healthy adults. Pakistan's military stepped in to mediate between the government and opposition protesters who have camped out in the capital for 2 weeks, demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Cricketer turned politician Imran Khan and cleric Tahir al-Qadri late Thursday met with Army Chief General Raheel Sharif and accepted him as mediator and guarantor in the talks. Khan and Qadri have alleged massive fraud in the May 2013 election that saw Mr. Sharif sweep to power with a huge majority. International observers have said the vote was largely free and fair. The inauguration of either Abdullah Abdullah or Ashraf Ghani as Afghanistan's new president is being delayed by the United Nations, which says it is not possible to finish a vote audit by September 2nd. That's the date President Hamid Karzai is due to leave office. Abdullah's team withdrew from the audit process this week, citing dissatisfaction with the handling of allegedly fraudulent votes during the presidential runoff in June. Ghani's team then removed its observers, too, at the request of UN staff overseeing the audit. The U.S. economy, the world's largest, is growing even faster than first thought. The Commerce Department reports that the American economy advanced 4.2% in the April to June quarter, up from its earlier 4% estimate. The bigger expansion was fueled by more robust business investment in new building, machinery, and research. The economy is also advancing due to increases in consumer spending and more exports. I'm Ray Kouguell in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.